Hi everybody, welcome to the demo for An English Haunting, a new adventure game in development by Postmodern Adventures. Now, you might recognise Postmodern Adventures as being the geniuses behind Nightmare Frames, which was a very, very cool game that came out, I think it was last year. I'm pretty sure it was last year. Really enjoyed that one. Fantastic pixel art and real sort of horror vibe to it. Very, very cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what this game is like, to be honest with you. So let's jump in, see what we've got. I've seen some screenshots and things on Twitter. It looks very, very cool. By the way, if you haven't played Nightmare Frames, well worth playing. Loved it. London 1907, so we're in the Edwardian era of London here. Assuming, of course, that this isn't a fictional, made-up London. Thus, with this method, we can determine the time of death within a margin of error of 2 hours. Love the artwork already. I'm assuming... Oh, we can click. You should ask Cooper. Me? Why not you? Hughes? Cooper? It would be interesting if you'd share your doubts with the class. Look what you achieved. Ah, coward. Professor Moore. Is it true that you and Professor Ward are devoted to hunting ghosts? My, you have been badly informed. We are devoted to studying them, not to hunting them. Okay, that's nonsense. Ghosts don't exist. Do you have any conclusive evidence that can substantiate that statement, Mr. Cooper? They're a myth. An invention of mankind to scare those of weak mind. Those of weak mind, eh? Very well. So it's a ghost story. Let's see. I mean, you can sort of judge by this thing. How many of you believe in God? The title of the game, of course. You can raise your hands. Oh, all of them. Apparently. All of you? Well, perhaps you should be studying theology and not forensic medicine. You can lower your hands. I suppose you think the mere belief in him confirms his existence. Is there any supporting evidence? Any photographs? Have any of you seen him taking a stroll in Hyde Park? Has anyone talked to him? The Pope? Okay, let's set that witness aside for the moment. No one in history has been able to prove it. The only proof we have is faith, and that, regrettably, won't do. Look, gentlemen, neither I nor Professor Ward asserts that ghosts exist. We're cautious with regard to that matter, even if we have reliable witnesses and there are a large number of cases. Are those arguments enough to accept this as a fact? No. We would be falling into the same trap you fell into with respect to God. We investigate these claims with the best tool science has provided us. That is, the scientific method. A method I advise you to use before compulsively raising your hands to defend your beliefs. I don't think my father would agree with all this blasphemy. Your father agrees with the idea that students from poorer classes should never be allowed into a university, as well as agreeing to use child labour in his factories. So, with due respect, Mr. Turner, you can take your father's opinion and... Good interruption. Come in. Ah, who's this? I'm sorry to interrupt, Patrick. It's quite alright. What do you need? Look, the Dean wants to see you. Can't it wait? The lecture is almost over. It's a delicate matter, Patrick. Is it about Rose? No, it has nothing to do with Rose. Who's Rose? What a relief. I was starting to worry. Talk to him, would you? I'll take care of the lecture. What were you teaching? The scientific method. Apparently these gentlemen don't get it yet. Noted. Alright, so something to do with Rose. We've got to go and see this Dean. Well, the Dean. Well, gentlemen, the scientific method. One moment. What? Who was he talking to? Press F1 for instructions. Ooh, nice. Okay. Interesting. Let's have a look around then. Tom Lee. We've got some trophies in here. A selection of the many championship sports trophies the university has won. I can see the polo trophy we won against Harvard in '84. I also remember that cup. We won it for cricket against Middlesex. Alright, Tom. Mr. Lee? Mr. Lee? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was admiring the trophies. Did you know the university won the Greco-Roman Wrestling Championship in '89? I did not. We haven't won since. Such a pity. There are more trophies in the hall. Why do I always find you in front of this cabinet? They're pretty, don't you think? Excuse me? The wrestling trophies. Yes, I suppose they are. And such a point of pride for the university, right? Yes, of course. Can I inquire about your obsession with trophies? I want to win one. I mean, I want the university to win one in my discipline, Greco-Roman wrestling. What's preventing you from participating in a championship? I understand you're a good wrestler. Manager Taylor. He doesn't want to be embarrassed like in 96. What happened in 96? Oxford humiliated us. They defeated all our wrestlers. Manager Taylor doesn't want that to be repeated. And in his view, the most sensible thing to do is not to compete. It makes no sense, right? Especially if they have me. I'm the best wrestler the university has had in years. I might be able to convince the manager. I'd very much appreciate it. Tell him Oxford won't stand a chance against me. I'm big and relentless. He's quite big actually, and strong. You look strong, yes. Of course I do. The strongest in the university. Do you want to see it? Test me. There's no need, I trust you. Bring me a metal rod, I'll bend it for you. I don't have one, but don't worry. I'll do what I can to persuade Manager Taylor. Many thanks, Professor. So the manager won't count on you. This is unfair. I'm big and relentless. And strong. The strongest in the university. Do you want to see it? Okay, fine. So, I guess... yeah, so that dialogue option stays there. You too, Professor Moore. Alright, let's have a look around, shall we? We've got this statue here and a plaque. It was a gift from Raymond Baxter, former pupil and famous sculptor. It represents a certain Celt deity celebrating the winter solstice. The board has threatened to retire this pagan figure several times to this pupil's dismay. Every 21st of December they fill the statue's bowl with whiskey and parade in front of it, paying their respects. Okay, fine, let's look at this plaque. Henry Carter Dean. Alright, fine. We've got Mr. Cook here who's putting up some portraits. We've got a door, we've got Raymond Price, lots of portraits and things, and there's an exit this way. The Dean is waiting for me in his office. On this very floor. Right, so we can't go down there. Let's talk to Raymond Price. Mr. Price? Professor Moore? Studying? Yes. Well, no. Yeah, I'm reading a treatise on medieval churches, and let me see. My dear Gregory, I am telling you the exact truth. I believe I am now acquainted with the extremity of terror and repulsion which a man can endure without losing his mind. I'm sorry, Don't worry, Mr. Price. Don't be ashamed of reading M.R. James. He's a national treasure. Continue with your reading. Thank you, Professor Moore. Seems like a nice enough guy, doesn't he, so far? It's this portrait. John Thomas... okay. Best surgeon in London Hospital, taught here between 1880 and 1890. When he retired, he donated huge quantities of medical material, which we still use today for internships. Cool. Let's talk to Mr. Cook. What are you doing with Professor Ward's portrait, Mr. Cook? Haven't you heard? Of course not. You've been shut all day in that lecture room. Go inside and they'll bring you up to date. It's a scandal. Oh, a scandal, you say? A scandal. We all like a scandal, right? Uh-oh. Ah, Professor Moore. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dean Carter. Rector Williams, a pleasure. Good afternoon, Professor Moore. You can get a chair from the back there, and that won't be necessary. The meeting will be brief. Explain the facts, Dean Carter. Look. This week, the university received a generous donation for the Metapsychic Investigations program run by you and Professor Ward. £5,000. 5? That's amazing. It would be, if not for a terrible event. All that money has disappeared from the Bank of England. What? We've demanded an explanation and they've confirmed the money was withdrawn yesterday by your colleague. How is that? We wanted to speak with Professor Ward, but he didn't appear today for his lectures. Let's try to remain calm, gentlemen. The professor might simply be... We've been trying to locate him all day. He's vanished. He's run off with the money. It's an unprecedented scandal. Okay, but are you sure it was Professor Ward? Someone could have impersonated him. There are witnesses, and the signature with which the money was withdrawn is undoubtedly his. Lest we forget, his whereabouts are unknown. We believe in presumption of innocence and respect it, but in this case, I'm sorry, Professor Moore. This is the unvarnished truth. Who donated the money? We only know it was from a group of intellectuals from London society. Nothing else. It appears they had no intention of making it public. And given the circumstances, they'd prefer to keep it that way. And why would he do that? That is exactly what we're wondering. Or how could he withdraw the money? He's just a teacher. He shouldn't be authorised. At one time, he combined his teaching job with the position of deputy treasurer. That was years ago. He resigned. Nevertheless, he was still registered at the Bank of England. That seems like a big oversight. We suspect he took advantage of that to commit this crime. Get to the point, Dean Carter. Yes. I'm sorry to tell you that as a result of this matter, the board is considering eliminating your Metapsychic Investigations Department. But that can't be. It is. My predecessor authorised this department because of the immaculate career of Professor Ward. Sir Archibald Ellsworth would roll over in his grave if he knew of this infamy. Surely you didn't presume to hope we'd keep this nonsense going after what happened, did you? I understand this discomfort with Professor Ward, but I'm part of the department too. It isn't fair that I should be blamed for acts of which I'm not responsible. We know Patrick, but... Patrick? You mean Professor Moore? And I would beseech you not to challenge the board. However, as a courtesy to you, we wish your exit from the department to be as... Stop with this rubbish, Dean Carter. You have 72 hours to prove that your ghosts exist. If you don't present us with material proof by that deadline, forget about your department. 72 hours? That's not time enough to prove what no one has ever proven throughout the entire history of mankind. That is your problem. And express your thanks to Dean Carter. He's the one who proposed it. If it were up to me, I would brick up that circus right now with my own hands. Damn it. We're the laughing stock of every university in the United Kingdom. Let them laugh all they want, Vice-Chancellor Williams. They only display their ignorance. Do you want some advice? Forget about those ghost fantasies and focus on your work as a teacher. You are the best teacher of forensic medicine in all London. Focus on your work for God's sake. This is a serious institution. Superstition has no place here, and neither do your progressive ideas. Are you aware that we have received complaints from some students' fathers because of your radical ideas? What's wrong with being a progressive? Isn't it part of the university motto? Knowledge, improvement, progress? Don't be a wise ass with me, and remember who you're talking to. He seems nice, doesn't he? What a lovely man. 72 hours, Professor Moore. Prepare yourself to say goodbye to a fantasy that never had any place in an institution as respectable as this one. Bye-bye. Show yourself out. 72 hours. 72 hours, Henry. It's humiliating. Why didn't they just close the department immediately? I have more bad news to tell you. Really? There's more? Your department has been sealed. You won't be able to use any of the resources inside. That seems desperately unfair. Damn it, Henry. Couldn't you... I can't. If someone sees you there, they'll know it was me who conceded. That would put me in an awkward situation. The board is treating this matter very seriously. I don't want my position to be jeopardised. I beg you to understand. Yes, I do. I didn't mean to put you in a predicament. I'm sorry. I know the search for the great beyond is your life, but I'm sure adversity will stretch your intellect even further. I don't know how, but try to find proof, please. If it's strong enough, I'll show it to the board and they'll be forced to keep the department open. I mean... well, that's not exactly fun, is it? The Jewel of Seven Stars by Bram Stoker. The Great God Pan by Arthur Machen. I couldn't read that, it's like reflection. In a Glass Darkly by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. Williams would be angry if he saw you devoted time to these readings while working. Ah, these books! I just received an order from that new library near the London Archaeological Society. Do you know it? No. You should see for yourself. There are some genuine jewels. I'll do that. Alright, oh look at this globe. I wonder if Professor Ward is still in London. That's the same thing I want to know. Right, anything else? There's a shelf. How many of these have you written? The ones on the first shelf. And part of the second one too. Ghosts, Reality or Myth by Dr. Henry Carter. Does Williams know you wrote this one? Oh yes, he's even read it. Has he? Well, actually only the prologue. Then he gave me a lecture with more words than are in the book. I love the characters so far, they're very, very good. Do you have anything else? No, just Carter. Alright, well let's see if there's anything else to talk about. What kind of proof do you need? The tangible kind, of course. Something so conclusive that it will convince the ignoramuses on the board to reconsider their beliefs. Okay. What a genius, huh? Who? Ah, Williams, yes. You know, he's never agreed with the university being involved in supernatural matters, even if they're studied through science. What happened with Professor Ward was the perfect excuse to close down the department, don't you think? To him, it was like manna from heaven. It's what he's been waiting for since the beginning. I have no doubt about that. Williams is an old school teacher, quite literally. His closed mind belongs to the last century. Forget about him and focus on searching for proof of supernatural activity. I will try to keep him at bay as best I can. I still don't believe what Professor Ward did. Indeed, I'm still processing it myself, but the evidence is unequivocal, Patrick. Okay, fine. I don't think I can do it without the professor. Don't underestimate yourself, Patrick. You're an extraordinary researcher. I know time is not in your favour, but perhaps pressure will push your brain to unsuspected limits. I bet on you, my friend. Any ideas? I remember you said you were working on an electromagnetic field booster. Well, it's more complicated than that in truth, but we could call it that. It served to stimulate supernatural activity, right? In theory, yes. You could use it in this rushed investigation. Did you finish it? Does it work? I took it home so I could work on it during sleepless nights. It's only missing a piece, and then I could give it a try. So, what are you waiting for? Oh. Okay. Fine, I'll see what I can find. Time is of the essence. Good luck, Patrick. What was that popped up? Up there somewhere. Got... Select an icon, an item and click on the eye. Okay, fine. So, let's head out. We've got to prove the existence of ghosts then in 72 hours or we are screwed. I won't be able to prove the great beyond exists in such a short time without the professor's help. I need to find him. Maybe I can discover something that will help me find him at his home on Dorset Street. Okay, can we... F1, inventory, shows the help screen. Okay, so that's fine. I don't really know like if you can bring up a book that tells you what your goals are or something. I'm not sure if that's a thing. Oh, this is really cool. I love this. The University, Patrick Moore's house, Dorset Street. This is great. And like the music as well. It's really good. Oh, here we go. It's very dark here. That's it, room number 4. So you're a friend of Professor Ward? Exactly. And he's vanished, sadly. Why do you want to examine his room? Are you from Scotland Yard? No, I'm a professor, such as he. I only want to have a look to see if there's anything that might enlighten me to his whereabouts. Ah, that makes sense. When was the last time you saw him? I know he went out last evening. I was in bed, but I heard his footsteps on the stairs. Haven't you seen him since then? No, sir. Did you notice anything strange about him? Of course I noticed. But not only yesterday, always. He's a strange man, but a very polite one. How I wish the rest of my tenants were as courteous as him. Why is the corridor so dark? What we're all thinking, right? The electric company convinced me to install this new light system in the house. They didn't tell me the price would double compared to gaslight. That's what progress means, you know? Progress for the usual suspects. Those in power. I've told the tenants not to use the corridor light unless they want my bills to start affecting their rent. It's curious that he lived here. I mean, his salary was high enough to afford him a better place than this. This hovel? Is that what you wanted to say? I don't mean to offend you, Miss Dawson. No, you would be right, this is a hovel. though it's the classiest hovel in all of East End, and with the biggest rooms for 4 blocks. Would you do me the kindness of lending me the key to the room? I don't have it. How's that? Professor Ward was a bit forgetful. He asked for my copy of the key in case he lost his. It wouldn't be the first time that happened. So he's got 2 keys. And me none, that's it. How can I get into his room? You can wait for the locksmith to come tomorrow. I'm afraid I don't have that much time. Or you can try to open the door yourself. I won't complain, but please try not to break it. I'll be downstairs if you need me. Alright, so we're going to have to try and find another key, I guess. Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to leave it here. So if you want to play more of this, I will leave a link to the demo down in the description below so you can play it. Really enjoying this so far. Love the era, love the pixel art, love the story, love the soundtrack. Everything is very promising from this, so I'm excited to see what the full game's like. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons, Arcades Games, Wayne, Nate, Totally Nerdy, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Barry Aldridge, Hobo, Numinous, Coumadin, Paul Leone, and Flossie the Sheep, and I'll see you next time.